Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. This podcast is dedicated to EAS employees of the U.S. Postal Service and members of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. So, pour yourself a cup of coffee and join us for today's episode. And now, here's your host, Robert Wakefield.
Good morning, Branch 32, and good morning to our EAS friends from wherever you are listening. Welcome to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. I'm your host, Robert Wakefield, and I'm the president of NAPS Branch 32, my home branch. It's great to have you all here. So let's go ahead and get started, and let's pour that first cup. You know, you have to be doing something right if you've been around for 99 years. The Nashville Post Office Credit Union has providing postal employees and their families with services that they need for almost a century. They'll be celebrating their birthday in 2025. Did you know that each individual account is insured by the NCUA up to $250,000? That's right. You know your money is secure, you know your money is safe, and you know that the people at the Nashville Post Office Credit Union will take care of your needs. Visit npocu.org. Well, it's time for our first cup, and I always enjoy the first cup because the first cup usually deals with something that's U.S. Postal related or NAPS related or not related at all, but hang with me. We're going to talk about an unusual topic this morning, and we're going to talk about sharks and swimming with sharks. Now, hang with me. There's going to be an application in this little series right here. So just keep listening to the very end. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever swam with sharks? I mean, like on purpose. I mean, do you go on an expedition to swim with sharks? Did you know I found online that there are actually shark diving adventures that you can go on? TripAdvisor, the famous traveling site, lists the 10 best U.S. shark diving activities that you can be a part of. I don't know. That seems a little crazy to me. It's even famous people do it. Actress Sandra Bullock was asked what was the craziest and the most physically dangerous thing she's ever done. And she said it was swimming with sharks. And she said, even more surprisingly, we splashed in the water to get their attention. We invited them to come swim with us. I don't know. That seems a little bit on the crazy side. Well, when I went to look this stuff up and just do some research on this, I found a website called Earth Dive. And there they have the International Shark Attack File, the ISAF. And the ISAF gives us some data that you might find interesting. On average, there are 63 unprovoked shark attacks each year, with 5 or 6 deaths a year. Now let's talk about unprovoked shark deaths. Why would I want to provoke a shark? That's what I want to know. But 63 unprovoked, that means you were doing something other than swimming with sharks. You were either surfing or swimming or things of that nature. But there was unprovoked shark attacks. The countries that have the most shark bites is not surprising. It's the U.S. with 26 in 2023. Australia had 15. The states with the most shark bites, well, that's no surprise either. Florida with 44%, followed by Hawaii at 22%. And I was surprised at number 3. New York had 11% of the shark bites in 2023. So interesting. I tell you, it's just crazy. So now let me ask you this. Why am I talking about sharks? Why on earth would I even bring that up? Well, it's simple. If you're listening to this podcast and you're not a member of NAPS, you're swimming with sharks. You're out there just wallowing around, enjoying the water, splashing and having a great big old time. Let me tell you something. You want an unprovoked attack? Well, get ready. It could happen at any time. I'm not saying that managers are swimming the waters of the Postal Service to try to catch you doing something wrong or catch you doing something right. What I am saying is that if you do something wrong and you're not a member of NAPS, you're just not doing yourself any favor. Now, we're not a get you out of trouble organization. That's not what NAPS is about. Never has been. We're more of an educational type thing. We want to keep you out of trouble. And we'll talk more about that in future podcasts. But I tell you what, if you're not a member of NAPS anywhere in the country, wherever you're hearing this from, you need to find out how to join. Now, I'll give you a quick thing. You can go to our website. That's napsbranch32.org, and under important documents, you will see it's the very first document there. It's the application to join. You fill that out, get that sent in to NAPS headquarters, and that will be fantastic. And if you sign somebody up, if you are a member and you sign somebody up, you get $25 from NAPS headquarters. So if you know someone who is not a member of NAPS and you're listening to this podcast, well, send this podcast to them and tell them that they're swimming with sharks and you're out to try to rescue them so they won't get in any kind of trouble that not only could cause them a financial hardship, you never know, it could cost them their jobs. So get them signed up and don't swim with sharks, because I'm not going to swim with sharks. You can't make me. So there you go. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your first cup. Let's go ahead and let's pour that second cup. Access your accounts anytime, anyplace with a Nashville Post Office Credit Union app. We know your life is busy. Our mobile app is a convenient, secure, and fast way to conduct your credit union transactions. The mobile app allows you to check balances, view transaction history, pay bills from your account, and much, much more. Visit mpocu.org for more information about the mobile banking app. And for our second cup today, I always like the second cup to be a little bit lighter, a little bit something fun, something interesting that you might find interesting. I found this interesting. So it's a magazine called Fast Company. I don't know how long they've been around, but it's a magazine that's called Fast Company. And I saw something that was dated 9/16/2024 that employees voted on the worst workplace jargon. Now, we have acronyms for everything, and we'll do a whole episode on that one day. But the jargon that people have in corporations and the Postal Service is no exception. It can just drive you crazy. I remember one that a good friend of mine just hated with a passion, and it was structured brainstorming. That's right. Structured brainstorming. We actually, when I was a part of the business development team back in 2006, we had a manager that used the words senior management over and over and over again. So these workplace jargons can really drive you crazy. There's a company called Glassdoor that conducted a survey, and these were the worst workplace jargons that the people responded to the survey. In third place, it was this one. Let me circle back with you. Let me circle back with you? Which, in translation is simply say, I hear you talking, but I'm not going to do anything about it. So that was third. Let me circle back with you. The second place was kind of like that. Second place was, let's double click on that. Oh, gosh, shoot me now. Oh, that would drive me crazy. But the number one most cringeworthy voted on, according to Glassdoor, is this one right here. We're building the plane as we fly it. Yeah, that's not ever good. So let me ask you this. What is your most cringeworthy workplace jargon that you're listening to right now? Is it Employee engagement? Ooh, that was a popular one not too long ago. Please send those to me to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com. Now, Cup of Joe is spelled CuppaJoe. SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com. And tell me where you're from. I would love to know where you're from, where you're listening, and I'll even mention the city that you're listening from right here on Saturday Cup of Joe. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Thanks so much for listening to today's Saturday Cup of Joe, presented by the Nashville Post Office Credit Union. Now, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to rate, review, please subscribe, and follow us on the Apple and Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. Please, whatever you do, rate, review, and subscribe, and tell all your friends. I really would appreciate it. I'm Robert Wakefield, and remember, a great weekend starts with a great cup of Joe. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Saturday Cup of Joe podcast. Please note that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Robert Wakefield and do not necessarily reflect the views of the National Association of Postal Supervisors. We welcome your questions and comments, so send those to SaturdayCupOfJoe@gmail.com.